Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Dowell Myers. I'm really pleased to convene the day today. I want to welcome you to USC and the 28th Annual Demographic Workshop. It's a surprising number, but it keeps getting up there. Pretty soon we'll be at 50th, and I know you'll all be back for that, too. Although by that point, I can predict ahead, you'll all be about $50,000 richer each year in your incomes. All right. Okay. We have a very full program. We started a little bit late just to give people time to get parked and in the room here. More will be coming in later during the day, as usually is the case. So I'm going to be the MC for the day, and also I'll be moving things along that way. But I will be contributing a little bit here and there as well. So USC has sponsored this annual demographic workshop for 28 years now. It started by David Hare originally, and then it sort of fell to me about 18 years ago. And nobody will let it stop. There's just such demand for, growing demand for demographic data and demographic analysis that it just seems to be, it's now entrenched as an institution in Los Angeles. And we're just so pleased that to be able to collaborate over the last several years with SCAG, with the Southern California Association of Governments, who certainly feels the need for this more keenly than any other institution in Los Angeles. And they have a tremendous staff that they've brought to bear. So it's been a very happy partnership, as I'll say more in a minute. The staying power really is very simple. Why we've kept this thing going, and that's just really that Los Angeles is certainly the greatest demographic laboratory in the United States. Anytime I'm called to go outside and study other places, there's a few other interesting places, like Houston's interesting, and there's a few others, but really, by and large, Los Angeles is where it happens. This is where the trends start first, where they end first. We have the biggest changes, we have the biggest population. Everything is bigger here than in entire countries like Australia or Canada. It's the place to do demographics. And it's increasing interest and acknowledgement in the business community and in governments about the importance of demographic factors. And everybody looks to us like we have the answers, and we pretend that we do. But it's obviously, this is a very volatile time. Our theme this year is, how high, how low, nobody knows. It really is a very unusual time period where we need to have more theory to explain what's going on. And also, because of the greater interest, there's more people who are novices coming into the field and writing in newspapers and making their judgments and playing with the data that's made available by the Census Bureau. And there's just a proliferation of opinions about the demographic data. So there's really a need for this workshop to try to talk about best practices and to showcase some of the best speakers that can be assembled anywhere. But I want to start the morning here just by saying that you all have gotten here bright and early. You all, how many people here have been to a previous demographic workshop? There you go. So people keep coming back. And I just want to say that I think we all owe yourselves a big round of applause for your continuing participation here, and hopefully you'll develop some new ideas and new discussions today, because we have a lot of new material we're going to be going over. I won't cover the program right now, but at this point I want to introduce my boss. I normally invite Jack Knott to come up to the podium and make remarks, which he loves to do. I think he's done it for the last 10 years. I'm not sure what the number is really, but unfortunately he's still recovering from some elective minor surgery that was unavoidably delayed, and so he's not here today. Instead, he prepared remarks for me to offer in his stead, and I'm very willing to offer those remarks with some embellishments here and there, of course. This is, it's just a great opportunity. So sponsoring and organizing this annual demographic workshop at USC has become a tradition that we value in the Price School of Public Policy, says Jack Knott. We also value our partnership with SCAG, the Southern California Association of Governments, in organizing this conference with us this past several years. I, Jack, especially wanted to thank Frank Wynn and John Cho, who led SCAG's efforts in organizing the conference. And Dowell Myers does the same. As well as Executive Director Hassan Ikrata and all of our SCAG partners. I'd also like to acknowledge our co-sponsors. Their support is vital in making this annual gathering happen. It includes the United States Census Bureau, the California State Census Data Center, California Department of Finance, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, and our own USC Population Dynamics Group, led ably by my professor, Dowell Myers, without whom I would be nowhere and know nothing. I didn't say it. He didn't say that. So our focus for this year's workshop is volatility, uncertainty, the emergence of robotics, and especially a topic that everyone's talking about lately, the universal basic income. Now, I don't know how many, Jack wrote this to me, he said, I don't know how many of you saw the column yesterday in the LA Times by Michael Hiltzik on this topic. Guaranteed income idea is tested. I tried to praise Dowell Myers for his foresight about inviting a talk on universal basic income, but he said, oh no, thank you. But that was the inspiration of Frank Wynn and SCAG leadership. And so I salute them on that. Dowell Myers salutes them on that too. So Jack, my dean, is very excited for the keynote address by Elizabeth Rose of Y Combinator, which was cited in the column by Hiltzik, and which I commend you look at that. It's a nice summary. And she's going to discuss her work to pilot the concept of universal basic income in the Bay Area with some experiments that are being set up. That's going to be at lunchtime. We're really looking forward to that. All of us are. So Jack says, looking over today's program, I'm reminded again how integral census data are for researchers in our Price School of Public Policy. Our strength in demographic analysis sets us apart from other schools of policy and planning. Go Jack. So now let me turn to me. As Dean Knott has expressed it, he's very pleased that the Price School is once again hosting this. While Jack could not join us today, I certainly echo his sentiments, and I'm delighted to welcome you to USC on behalf of Dean Knott and the USC Price School. Thank you all for attending. It's going to be a productive and insightful day. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the leader of our partner organization. Hassan Ikrata is the executive director of the Southern California Association of Governments, which is the largest metropolitan planning organization in the United States. Hassan is one of the nation's leading transportation experts with over 25 years of experience in public and private organizations. Hassan holds a master's degree in civil engineering from UCLA, but we're especially proud that his PhD work, his advanced work in urban planning and transportation, was accomplished here at USC, in the land of the Trojan nation. So yes, he has some UCLA roots, but we brought him to his highest level of accomplishment at USC. So without further ado, I invite up Hassan Ikrata.
Thank you very much, Professor Myers. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for being here. This is the 28th annual. I asked Professor Myers how long he's been a professor at USC. 28 years. That doesn't mean that he was here for the first one, but that says a lot. There's two people here that I would like you to know a little about. Of course, the person you just heard from, Professor Dowell Myers, Dr. Myers, and the second one is Dr. Simon Choi. Where are you, Simon? Raise your hand. These two people, who I am honored to know, I known for a while. Actually, Simon and I were classmates. We took a class with Professor Myers sometimes in 1993. Not that it's hard to compete with Simon, but Professor Meyer was a great guy. I don't know why he gave us a good grade, but he did. I want you to know that both Simon Choi and Dow Myers, for many, many years, for decades, has been talking about data that's real today. And we would have been much better off by listening to them back then. They predicted a lot of things that came to fruition, and I am honored that SCAG and USC is partnering in this conference to just keep the momentum going. Dr. Simon Choi, as you know, retired last year from SCAG. He is a professor in Seoul, South Korea, but he will come back and will continue to come back to help us and in many different ways. Why am I telling you these two gentlemen are some people I will always respect. We owe them a lot for their work, the prediction of the future. You know, our tagline at SCAG is innovating for a better tomorrow. You cannot innovate unless you get the information and data. Now, I want you to know that this is a great gathering, and this will be even more significant in the next few years at SCAG. SCAG is about to embark on something really big by creating probably the biggest data center in the world, maybe in the United States for sure, a center that would have data and information to add values not only to our partners and member cities, but to the world, to make the world a better place. That work we're right now calling big data, data of everything, has begun. Very soon we will be formalizing this. We are partnering with all the universities in Southern California, with all the companies that want to partner. And yes, Professor Myers, we are inviting UCLA to be part of that too. And the reason that's important is everybody says we have data. But when you ask for information, nobody has it. Council Member Randall from Big Bear, raise your hand. He just sent me a board, and he compared data to oil. You know, you have oil, it's crude oil, you need to refine it to make it usable. Data is the same thing. Data and information is the future of how we're going to be a better place. And I am proud to tell you that we will spare no expense in making sure Southern California Association of Government will host the biggest data and information center in the world that will have not only national but international flavor. We already have assigned MOUs with Chinese Academy of Science, with COTI, Korean Transport Institute, with CRIS, Korean Research Institute, with the State of Israel, with many other entities. And we're going to formalize those. This is a center that's going to be a place for professors to come do their sabbaticals, researchers to come do their research. And after SCAG set it up, we will have it to be independent. So, look forward to making this even bigger. And again, I want to thank Professor Meyer and Simon Choi for starting this. Why am I telling you this in confidence? Because I have the leadership that believes in this. Past President, please raise your hands if you're in the audience. I saw Cheryl, Carl, Pam. Who else is here? We have a lot of members of the regional council. Raise your hand. These are our leaders, and they're embodied by the president, who you're going to hear from shortly, who believes that SCAG needs to do this. This is going to cost money, but it's money well spent to do this in an organized fashion. President Margaret Finley is the mayor of City of Duarte. She's only been a president for a month and a half. She's not complaining yet about too many meetings, but I know she will. She has been making herself available. I'm so grateful for that. You know, I am honored to work with her and I know she, with the past presidents in the room, knows that this is never about an individual. This is about something bigger than all of us combined. It's about the future of this region. So I am honored to introduce to you the president of Southern California Association of Government, Margaret Finley.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. This is a real honor for me to be here and be able to just briefly address you. I also do want to thank Professor Dowell Myers, thank you, and in absentia, Dean Jack Knott, for helping with this partnership that we have. So thank you very much, and you did really well standing in for your dean. Appreciate that. How many of you were stuck in traffic today? Yeah, okay. No matter where it is, even if you're going ahead and taking your car to drive down to the train to get on, there's always seems to be a little bit of traffic. Well, without data and demographics, we can't move ahead. But even if we have data and demographics, we have to be able to utilize it so that we can make life, transportation better for all of us. And I recently had an experience. I was riding on the train with my 3.5-year-old grandson, Preston. And we got on the train and we sat down, and it was commuter time. And so people are kind of standing, as they say, cheek to cheek, just kind of crammed in there. People were looking at their phones like this. We get on the train. Preston loves the train. So we get on the train, and he's there going, I love the train! And of course, all these people are looking down at this little kid and thinking, who loves the train? And so the next stop, we're sitting there, people get on, he stands up again, he goes, Dad, I love the train. So that's what we're trying to do here in Southern California, is make it so that all of you love transportation here in Southern California. We have key partners here with us for this conference, and those key partners are the United States Census Bureau, the Department of Finance, Demographic Research Unit, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, and USC's Population Dynamics Research Group. We have really some amazing speakers today and panels that I think are going to be very informative and exciting. And I know you're going, demographics, exciting? I love demographics. I think this, I came here when I wasn't even supposed to be here, because I really get so much information out of this. So with that, I would like to introduce, I think, one of the men that has probably one of the hardest jobs in the world, and that is setting up the 2020 census for this region. And that is going to be a daunting task. And this gentleman, and I know he's up to it, this gentleman is Armando Mendoza, and he's the Assistant Regional Census Manager for the Census Bureau of Los Angeles region. He oversees the planning and preparation and rolling out of the 2020 census. So, Armando, we are impressed that you're here, and we're excited to listen to you today. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here for a couple of reasons. One, we're really proud to be a co-sponsor with the annual demographic workshop. And second, I'm really happy to be here because I made it through the Mexican border yesterday with an expired passport. I'm originally from Mexico. My father's still in Mexico, and he has an advanced case of dementia. I had planned to renew my passport, which was issued 10 years ago when I went into China and Vietnam and Hong Kong, finishing my master's degree program in a residential. And anyways, I had completed the form, was ready to apply for renewal, but something came up. So I had to take a chance. So I took the form that I completed, I took my expired passport, my federal government ID, hoping that I can get through the border and make this conference, because I'm covering for Jamie Christie, who's our regional director, and he is now in Washington, D.C. in a temporary assignment. So I'm happy to be here, and I made it through the border without any hits. He didn't even ask me, why haven't you renewed the passport? So he just said, what are you bringing? I said, nothing. I was there for a few days and said, okay, have a good trip. So thank you so much. 2020 is fast approaching. For most people, it's far ahead in the distance. For the Census Bureau, it's right there and then. We are going through a program called LUCA. It's an acronym for the Local Update of Census Addresses. And that is an opportunity for states, counties, and cities to take a look at our master address database, make any changes, make any modifications, so when we're ready to mail out the questionnaires in 2020, we have the most complete master address database, so we can send the census. It is a huge endeavor and a huge task. I was part of the 2010 census as an area manager. I oversaw 5 offices of the 39 in our region, including the 2 most difficult areas in the country to have a complete and accurate count, downtown LA and East Los Angeles. So I know you know that there are huge economic implications, huge political implications, having a complete count in 2020. So we're counting on every one of you to fill out the questionnaire. You're going to be able to do it through the internet, through mail, or the phone. And we do have, we are the premier data collection in the country. And I'm going to put a little plug for my colleague, Luz Castillo, who will be doing a workshop and teaching you, even if you're an experienced data miner, we have a lot of data tools and applications that we have enacted in the last couple of years. So I encourage you that if you are looking for specific demographic information anywhere in the country, down to very small geographic levels, attend her workshop, and I guarantee you that you're going to learn about what the Census Bureau does. So thank you. Look forward to the next speakers.